Scarlett and I were both so small and we didn't fit the car, and we needed to be punched up so much so that we were on the same level. I just found that really funny that in amongst this really badass getaway scene, we're also on these cushions to make us seem bigger. It was just very, very classic movie making.
I am Scarlett Johansson.
And I'm Florence Pugh, and we're going to be breaking down a scene from our new film, Black Widow.
Okay, anytime now, please.
Shut up! We shot that scene in a practical location, and then we also did a lot of pickups in the studio. Mm-hmm. And in the studio, we ended up shooting on this rig, which was kind of like a car with, no windshield, or like half a door, or like, no doors, or it's like half a car. You're shooting it in all these different ways, depending on where the camera has to be. And I remember that particular rig was so strange because it moved. It had these very like specific movements that were programmed in. I had never worked on like a robotic car rig like that before. And I don't know if you remember that, Florence, but there were very specific ways that we were supposed to look when the car was like rotating around, and it was kind of technically challenging.
Yeah, it was, because we didn't know what it was that we were looking towards or what was happening. So for example, in that exact clip that you just showed with all the gunshots and the glass coming in, every single time we turn around, we didn't really know what it was that we were looking towards or what was coming to get us. So it was like, and now react to the back window. And you're just kind of just having to guess what's there, which is always fun.
I was just going to say that I think whenever you're doing those action set pieces where there's a lot of moving parts, literally, and then also like over many days, and you're kind of doing these, it's very piecemeal, and there's all these different kinds of rigs and stuff like that. The challenge is always like keeping up your energy and making sure that like the stakes feel high and like you're in the moment, because that stuff, it's just hard to continuously have that kind of high octane, like, no holds barred kind of thing, and feeling, because you want the audience to feel like there's consistency, even though you've shot it over weeks of time and all these different rigs, and sometimes Florence would shoot without me, or she wouldn't even be able to be there, and I was acting against nothing there, whatever. So you just have to remind yourself, like, kind of moment every, throughout the day, of what happened just before this, how we got in this situation, like where are we at in the story. And that's always kind of the challenge, I think, with these larger like set pieces.
Also, when we were doing lots of the Budapest stuff, it was peak summer there, and it was so hot. So we were doing all of these running sequences on rooftops, and the rooftop would be so hot it could melt. And so kind of adding that to the equation of being tired and having to sprint when you're just wet underneath your clothes. I think that was for me, that was the trickiest thing, was like constantly being ready to move when your body is like, I need to shut down.
You got a plan, or shall I just stay duck and cover?
My plan was to drive us away.
Well, your plan sucks.
This is our second vehicle change, and we are on the escape, and every single time we've changed vehicle, we're narrowly escaping the baddies, and you're kind of just being able to see for the first time their sisterly kind of arguing dynamic, and it's all nitpicking. It's all nothing's good enough for Yelena. Natasha's doing everything wrong, and she's just being that classically annoying younger sister that's just finding fault in absolutely everything, so much so that I have to take it into my own hands and knock a door off. and then says you're welcome, which is the most annoying thing ever. But yeah, no, we had a lot of fun shooting that. And as I said, I actually couldn't hear at the same time of the video, but Scarlett and I were both so small and we didn't fit the car. And we needed to be punched up so much so that we were on the same level. I just found that really funny that in amongst this really badass getaway scene, we're also on these cushions to make us seem bigger. It was just very, very classic movie making.
You're welcome.
Really, this movie is a Kate Shortland film. It feels like a Kate Shortland film, and it was really important for her fingerprints to be all over this. I think that's when Marvel is most successful, is when, the filmmakers that they are working with have a very specific point of view, and they have the confidence to, inject their own, artistic vision into like the whole, Marvel cinematic universe. And Kate is just incredibly confident. She has no tolerance for anything that feels like fake or corny or anything like that. She's just very, she's very real, and she strives for depth and realness. And, this movie is very, very grounded because of that.
I also think one thing that I really appreciated and fell in love with about her and the process of making all of our action fight sequence getaway sequences was just how emotional everything was. And she really wanted to make everything very human, and all of the decisions that you make in that split second, it wasn't just about the action, it was about why have you made that decision and how does that make you feel, which sometimes get lost when you do have the big explosions and the big getaways. And even just our first fight scene that Scarlett and I did, there was so much raw emotion and kind of just two very talented and skilled women emotionally fighting each other. And I've never seen anything like that before, and I've never done anything like that before, so that was really lovely, and that came directly from Kate.